Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. I have been asked in 5 minutes, I've only been given 5 minutes, to explain what the European Commission is doing on One Health. So my name is Brigitte Van Tongelen. I work in DG Research and Innovation in the European Commission in the Health Department, and I'm working on emerging epidemics in particular. So emerging epidemics are infections that are new in a population or that existed previously, but that rapidly increase in incidence or in geographical coverage, like for instance chikungunya, West Nile virus, dengue and MERS, and there are several others. Many of these diseases are transmissible between animals and humans, so there is an animal reservoir of infection. And up to 75% of the recently emerging infectious diseases that affect humans are of animal origin. So having this in mind, it is important when we are dealing with emerging epidemics and when we are funding projects on emerging epidemics that we keep this One Health concept in mind. So we always try to ensure close cooperation between the medical, veterinary and ecological disciplines. The European Commission has funded a lot of research in the area of emerging epidemics and zoonoses, and we have in fact a strategy to address these zoonoses and emerging epidemics. And this strategy is built on several pillars. So the first pillar is that we want to understand the disease. So we have a lot of projects just to better understand why and how zoonotic pathogens cause epidemics in humans, to identify the risk patterns for surveillance, control, intervention and preparedness. We have, for instance, a very big project which is called Antigone, and that is investigating why some animal viruses and bacteria pass the species barrier, so why they jump from animals to humans, and then why they have the potential to go from human to human and cause epidemics. This project also develops and implements One Health training programs, so combining human and veterinary medical expertise with other relevant disciplines. In the pillar Understanding Diseases, we also have a lot of projects on vector-borne diseases. We have 10 years of research on vector-borne diseases in the project EDEN and EDENEX. That were two successive projects that were looking at mosquito-borne disease, tick-borne disease, rodent-borne disease. So study the changing epidemiology of vector-borne diseases in Europe. Understanding diseases is the first pillar. The second pillar is early detection. So the early detection of emerging epidemics and zoonoses is of course very important. And for that we have projects that establish networks of scientists that are capable to predict, identify, model and do the surveillance of zoonoses. There are also projects that are focusing on new genome technologies, so like as the whole genome sequencing, which is a new technology for detection, response to disease outbreaks in humans and animals worldwide. COMPARE is a new project that was launched under Horizon 2020, and this project aims for the rapid identification of pathogens via whole genome sequencing, and they want to set up a platform where it links all this information, so the whole genome sequencing data together with clinical data, epidemiological data, and that these data can then be used for authorities as well in the human as in the public health and in the food safety domain. Third pillar is rapid response, so a coordinated research approach is needed in times of an outbreak, but also in peacetime, so in inter-epidemic periods. And for that we have set up a network which is called GLOPIT. GLOPIT is the Global Research Collaboration for Infectious Disease Preparedness. And the aim is to trigger a coordinated research response within 48 hours of a significant outbreak. And this has been triggered in case of Ebola and Zika recently. Fourth pillar is the development of drugs and vaccines. We are also funding projects that are developing vaccines. For instance, now there was a new project started that will develop a vaccine on the Crimean Congo hemorrhagic fever. And of course, again, there in all these projects, the human, the veterinary, and also the ecological expertise is combined. Silver was a big project that was developing antivirals against RNA viruses. And then the last pillar, the last but not the least, it's about effective communication in outbreak management. So we have two studies that are really focused on what are the most effective communication tools and strategies in case of an outbreak. Because communication is also very important. Communication to the public, first of all, that we don't create a panic or we give the right information, but also communication between the human and the veterinary side, which is still today not ideal. So these are the four pillars in which the framework in which we are working. And then finally, I would like still to mention that to combat the zoonoses and to use this One Health approach, we are closely working with DG Agri, so the research and DG Agri. We are co-funding projects. For instance, we have now launched, or we are, there is a big European Joint Programme co-fund on One Health that was published. The deadline is somewhere in February, and this action is designed to support coordinated national research and innovation programs. The main emphasis is on foodborne, microbial infections and intoxications, but also antimicrobial resistance and important non-zoonotic foodborne pathogens will be addressed. It's a new tool under Horizon 2020 to ensure coordination between national research programs. And then there is another international research consortium on animal health, and that the aim is also to coordinate research at international level to contribute to new and improved animal health strategies for at least 30 priority diseases. And the deliverables include candidate vaccines, diagnostics, therapeutics, and risk analysis for disease control. So this is, in my 5 minutes, a short overview of what we in DG Research are doing on One Health.